Today's one of those rare days where the coup really isn't that prevalent, okay? Well, it's kind of like every day, but no, the insanity going around it, outside of the opinions and the takes of one fucking withered old socialist, but we'll get to him at the end of this, but no, we don't really have to talk about it today, because, yeah, sure, we could talk about a couple of the different mandates and a couple of the different pieces of legislation that's being passed in a couple of different states, but outside of that, there's, you know what, not a whole lot really going on, and fuck it, I want to talk about taxes. I know, right? Very exciting stuff, but it's a nice change of pace. And the fact that Joe Manchin, I'm a moderate because I don't want the IRS to spy on any transaction that you make over $600. That's the benchmark. That's how much ground has been seceded in this fucking society. That makes me sick to my stomach, but I think we've talked about this before, but I don't remember which video, so it does bear repeating, and maybe I haven't. I don't fucking know. I got a lot of information running around, but just to refresh everybody, and it's just, you know, at a fucking Manchin article, because he's the darling of the fucking boomer con right, so him in that PTA meeting 4, that's just right over there, Kirsten's Cinema. Oh yeah, so Manchin has come out against a revenue scheme proposed by the party that would have allowed the Internal Revenue Service to gather information on the inflows and outflows of American citizens' bank accounts. I'm an old Democrat. I don't think that it's right that the IRS need to be weaponized. Okay, Joe, what was your stance back in, what was that, 2009, 2010, when Barack Obama weaponized the IRS to go after the Tea Party and other conservative groups? Oh, right, yeah. He's moderate, though, sure. The measure initially came to light as part of the Democrats' $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. Oh, it's just about infrastructure. No, it's mostly just social spending and shipping more money out across the fucking world. And it does actually addressing, you know, like the budget or infrastructure, you know what, useful things. But okay, in an attempt to head off concerns from moderates, where are they? Can somebody please point them out? Okay, honestly. Yeah, Democratic leaders and rank and file lawmakers have desperately marked the bill as being completely paid for with no substantial effect on the deficit or national debt. We call them, I think it's one of those old French terms. Oh yes, fucking retarded. The proposal was met with immediate backlash from Republicans and people who know how to read. Now, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said the surveillance program crosses the line and calls the program un-American. Thanks, Kevin. You add so much to the conversation. Senate Minority Leader Mitch speaking of which, said the Democrats want to finance all their spending spree by effectively treating every ordinary American as if they were under IRS audit. At least he added some detail, you withered old sack. I must have forgotten when the president campaigned on giving everybody their own audit. I don't know if that impression's Mitch McConnell or Chris Wallace or a fucking horse, but at this point, really, what's the difference? At least the horse you could put out to pasture or make something productive out of them. The original draft of the plan would have allowed the IRS to gather information on any account with $600 or more in activity per year. Oh, it's not even per transaction, so it's $600 total. I'm glad we did this refresher because that's even more nefarious than I first thought. Because of the sharp backlash against it, proponents of the measure raised the threshold to 10. What the fuck's the difference? Throughout the entire year, $10,000. Most average fucking human beings, okay, make transactions throughout the entire year well over $10,000, okay? It seems like a lot of money when you're a kid, but guys, $10,000, you probably go through that much money. You probably move around that much money in a month, maybe 6 weeks, for being honest, okay? That's not spending it all, it's just fucking moving it around, and that's what they'd be tracking. Like, what the fuck? Supporters of the plan, like Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, argued that the measure was good and would help to close the so-called tax gap, a gap formed by underreporting income. No, you're just wanting to enact a fucking spy state, but it looks like this is going to fail because people found it in that 2,500-page fucking bill. They thought they could sneak it in there somewhere, but don't worry, they're going to be more overt their next time around. The Biden administration proposes taxing billionaires' theoretical income to pay for spending. Yeah, it'll just be the billionaires right now. Oh, it's just going to be the rich. Nobody making less than $400,000 is gonna pay more in taxes, and everything's already paid for. We're gonna make the billionaires. They're gonna pay for all this stuff, and I'm not Bernie Sanders, that's somebody different. I beat him in the primaries, even though I just adopted all of his talking points. And, hey, wait a minute, once we pass this stuff, where's the billionaires going? What are they actually talking about? It's totally fucked, to be completely honest. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen proposed taxing billionaires' unrealized capital gains to fund President Joe Biden's $2 trillion spending bill, a bill which the president has claimed costs $0. Holy fuck. Okay, this is something that you would scold a child for saying, okay?
Well, I replaced your broken vase. You didn't even notice it was broken. It doesn't matter, right?
For fuck's sakes. But that's not central to the story. We'll just continue. During an interview with CNN on Sunday, Yellen touted the idea of taxing the unrealized capital gains of the wealthiest 1%. Yeah, sure, it'll stay at the 1% too, right? But what do they mean by unrealized capital gains? It's so stupid. Though she claimed the measure would not count as a wealth tax. Really?
I think that's under consideration is a proposal that Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, and the Senate Finance Committee have been looking at and would impose a tax on unrealized capital gains, on liquid assets held by extremely wealthy individuals, billionaires.
Why are we demonizing these people again? What have they done? Oh, okay. No, you just hate people who are successful and can thrive in the private industry. I'll continue.
I wouldn't call that a wealth tax.
What do you just want to call it? Thievery then? Can we just be honest?
But it would help get a capital gains, which are an extraordinary large amount of income for the wealthiest individuals.
Are you sure about that? Something else you should be able to quantify. You are Treasury Secretary after all, but no, you didn't bother bringing receipts, now did you? That's for the IRS to go through.
And right now, escape taxation until they're realized, and often the only realized in death, benefiting in a so-called step-up basis.
Yes, use more buzzwords, that's fun.
So it's not a wealth tax, but a tax on unrealized capital gains of exceptionally wealthy individuals.
Thanks for reiterating exactly what you said, stupid. But what does that mean? Well, if you have assets, okay, and you're not in the market of spending anything, okay, or say whoever they designate as being one of the top 1%, one of the billionaires that are out there that would fall prey to this plan. Well, if they own property, okay, it's already been paid for, they're currently paying a mortgage on it, whatever. House is valued at a few $100,000, maybe even $1 million, okay? They're going to tax you on something that you already own, okay? Because in the future, you might sell it, okay? Then that would become a realized capital gain, but they want to get you before that even happens. See how evil that shit is? According to Americans for Tax Reform, the mark-to-market regime would force Americans to pay taxes every year on their liquid assets, things that can be sold easily. Yeah, homes, vehicles, which includes things like stocks, collectibles, tchotchkes. If the liquid assets rise in value, which could be influenced by a factor like rampant inflation, I wonder who's experiencing that right now. The owner would be required to pay tax on the perceived higher value before it has even been sold for actual profit. Oh, just because you have the ability to sell it means we have the ability to tax you on what we think it's worth. It's not a wealth tax, though. But yeah, according to Nancy Pelosi, so-called calls on Democrats, to embrace scaled-down infrastructure bill. Yeah, you guys got to really lower your expectations. It's kind of like she took that Washington Post article to heart, and it's like, instead of the economy, instead of just, going to the store and buying what you want or just having choices available, you should just be happy that the party provides you with bread and water, my friend. Why did it get Indian? They aren't communist. Maybe I'm just thinking of the plastic surgeon for Pelosi, but yeah. You guys ain't gonna get any fucking thing you want, but the fact that they keep on asking for this outrageous shit, that should raise alarm flags, I think. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told Democrats on Monday night to embrace a scaled-down infrastructure bill as the chamber plans to vote on legislation next week. Sure they will. Pelosi urged Democrats to support a limited infrastructure bill as President Joe Biden has encouraged Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to hold a vote on the Senate-passed Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. It doesn't matter what you call it, it still sucks regardless. Or the so-called bipartisan infrastructure bill. It's definitely bipartisan. Yeah, right. And the Build Back Better Act. Yeah, just keep spending everybody else's money. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Pelosi told Democrats to embrace this and have a narrative of success and grab your ankles. Pray that they spit on it first. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, all right, urged Democrats to support the bill to convince the American people to support the bill. Okay, yeah. Hey, listen, the population out there is so fucking stupid that if you guys support the bill, they're going to support the bill. Awesome. Hoyer said if we don't act like we're winning, the American people won't believe it either. Oh my God, they're starting to see the holes in their propaganda. Politico noted the comments were seen in a way to assure reluctant progressives to back the bill, even though many of the left policies will either be drawn down or eliminated, and they support to gain Manchin and Sinema's approval. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and they keep bickering back and forth with the progressive agenda, and yeah. Sucks to suck. There's more infighting in the Democrats than there is actual sparring with Republicans, because the Republicans are actually kind of firm on this one. They're like, we're not supporting that at all whatsoever. And the Democrats are like, no, that's... And they're like, fuck off. Oh, but since we've been talking about geriatrics, let's move along. Yeah, this is going to be the only coof story that I can think of so far, but it's not even really, okay? Because everybody else is spending your money, okay? So they just want to make you poor. They just want to make you reliant on the government. And Noam Chomsky right here, darling of progressives everywhere. So kind of a nice segue, sort of. Just go with me on this one. Unvaccinated should be isolated from society. So they want you poor. They want you to own nothing, and they want you to be happy about it, okay? And if you're not going to be happy about it, to the gulag with you, my comrade. I'm not buying this shit. Famed MIT linguist, professor, and far-left activist Noam Chomsky believes that while people who refuse vaccines should be forced to inject one, they still should be isolated to protect the community. Since when has it ever been the case that if you don't get something that I've already got that's supposed to protect me, it's not going to work? All right. During an interview with Kurt Gödel, Chomsky said that the topic of vaccine mandates is a mixed story. Obviously, right? And he wants to make sure that he can get all of those parts separated appropriately. So it's no longer mixed. God damn, dude. Democrats and progressives and all those fucking weirdos over there on the left, they just love a good segregated society now, don't they? That should strike a compromise between individual freedom and community safety. No! It should strike a good balance between individual freedom. That's it. Wherein the community forms a social convention that pushes the isolation of unvaccinated people. Oh, okay. People who refuse to accept vaccines, I think the right response for them is to not force them to, but rather insist that they be isolated. Okay. If people decide I am willing to be a danger to the community by refusing to vaccinate. Okay, one thing, just explain to me breakthrough cases. I'm just saying, okay? Oh, it's only the unvaccinated that can transmit the virus. Okay. I guess they did. I guess Marx didn't fucking write about this. They should say then, well, I also have the decency to isolate myself. How about the people who are scared of this fucking thing just isolate themselves? How about that? They're so terrified about variants. Maybe we don't need you in society. I'm not advocating for that either. The world needs ditch diggers too, you know. I don't want a vaccine, but I don't have the right to run around harming people. Again, information is your friend, my dude. That should be a convention. Enforcing is a different question. It should be understood. Oh, okay, cool. It's your way or the highway. Thank God. I think he's like 80-something. You can understand why he's very frightened by this. And we should try to get it understood. I don't care. It really reaches the point where they are severely endangering people. Okay, when are we going to reach that point? I don't really know. And, of course, you have to do something about it. Yeah, obviously. Okay, for example, Chomsky said that if someone were to refuse the smallpox vaccine and then frequent public places where smallpox could spread, yes, at the, blanket factory in the 1600s, that would be a situation where the community would have to step in and stop that person. Yeah, exactly, and, in order to do that, they shot anybody who had the sniffles. But I don't think the coof is anywhere near comparable to smallpox, but then again, this is your mind on socialism. Chomsky said we had not reached a crisis point with the coronavirus pandemic yet. What is that, a threat or a promise? Man, fuck these old socialists. Get rid of all of them. If they want a segment of society to be isolated, yeah, you can probably start there. But yeah, they want you poor, they want you destitute, they want you reliant on the government because they think that you're too stupid to design your own life. I don't think that. That's why I bring you guys the information. You can do with it what you will. We're going to talk about something that I didn't think was going to have a development so quickly, and it involves a former president. No, not a good one, but the one who started this fucking socialist ball rolling. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.